So China 4 to the good against India. After that victory for Wang Yihan in 3 sets. The final offering then, the final rubber, is the women's doubles. Wu and Wang up against A.Ponnappa and Pradnya P.Gadre. The world ranked #1 duo against the twosome that are 50th in the world. And while the women's singles was a very tight affair, well, is it really possible to see a similar story in the women's doubles? The strength and the combination of Yu and Wang Xiaoli. Well, it's hard for many pairs in the top 10 of the world sometimes to live with them, never mind someone, Jill, that's a pair that's ranked 50th.
No, that's right, but I don't think that the ranking of the Indian pair is a true reflection of their capabilities. Of course, they've only got 7 tournaments towards that world ranking, and of course the optimum number is 10 to get a realistic reflection of your capabilities. But as said, I couldn't agree with you more, Richard, because Wang Xiaoli and Yu Yang are an outstanding combination. They're world #1s, and they've only played 8 tournaments towards their world ranking, so only 1 more tournament than their opponent, and yet the #1 in the world.
Well, back as a partnership when, well, that was questionable at some point in the last year. Of course, after disqualification from the Olympics, Yu Yang said that she was quitting the sport, but obviously has reversed that decision. Back together with Wang Xiaoli. You can see yet to lose a match in 2013. They haven't lost too many as a partnership either, have they? Of course, defending their world title in a couple of months' time as well. It's such a strong partnership. There are very few flaws there for an opponent to expose. It's going to be a real test for this young partnership, Ashwini A.Ponnappa, with a new partner in Pradnya P.Gadre, of course, formerly with Xiaoli Gutta. Xiaoli not even part of the India team here this week. Are you surprised that, of course, Xiaoli said she was going to take a little bit of time out, but now that she's back, that they decided to keep this twosome together?
Well, it was really, I think it came down to Ashwini A.Ponnappa's decision in the end. As far as here at the Sudirman Cup, I know that Xiaoli Gutta opted out. She said she wasn't available to come for this particular tournament. But, you know, Xiaoli Gutta, apart from having a sabbatical from badminton, which is quite understandable, a number of players wanted to do that. I think that her involvement, she's been in a movie in Bollywood, and
yeah, but she came back and said, you know, now my focus is on my badminton, you know, this is my sole focus, and apparently she turned away other offers.
Yes, but I think that there were certainly signs for this Indian pair that they had good potential, and of course they're both the same age, roughly 22, 23. So, you know, I think as far as A.Ponnappa is concerned, she sees that more of a future. And you've got to remember that, you know, the Indian pair have already beaten Marjin and Tang Xinhua, who's a very, very highly ranked Chinese women's doubles pair. There was a little bit of controversy at the end of that match, I have to say, when they won through in 3 games, but there's certainly potential there. Now, Li Yongbo, well, you'll be pleased that Wang Yihan has won her women's singles, but as always...
A little bit of a debrief.
Yep.
But again, I think Wang Yihan, just going back to that match, again showing the kind of mental strength we saw from her at the Uber Cup last year. She's a player who was world #1, left out of squads, left out of the Asian Games, and she just keeps coming back fighting, doesn't she?
Well, you know, Li Yongbo told her to go away and come back a better player. She's got to prove herself.
Ladies and
again.
gentlemen,
she's proved herself
on
again.
my right,
and
India,
again, and again.
represented by Gadura Pradnya, A.Ponnappa Ashwini. On my left, China, represented by Yu Yang, Wang Xiaoli. Pradnya to serve to 1.
Takahiko
India to
Tsujinaka
serve. Pradnya to
of
serve to 1.
Japan
Double play.
is our umpire, and we're ready to get underway for this final rubber in this opening match in Group A of level 1 of this 2013 Sudirman Cup. And well, the Indians on the front foot straight away.
1 love.
One thing about this is, of course, when Ashwini A.Ponnappa was with Joanna Gutta, she was the junior partner. Even though there's not much of a difference in their age here, she's still now very much the senior partner because she has the experience of these kind of tournaments.
Yes, and I think that's, from what I've seen of them so far, I think that's a very important role. And I think that Ashwini A.Ponnappa has actually blossomed with being the senior within the partnership, because, you know, Joanna Gutta was so experienced and so successful in mixed doubles as well as the women's doubles, whereas I think actually A.Ponnappa is really enjoying this role of nurturing her very slightly younger partner along the way, telling her, you know, within the game situation, I know I've experienced it playing with great players like Gillian Gilkes and Nora Perry, and they'd say to you, okay, right, this next couple of rallies, we really have to focus. This is our chance. We need to put pressure on now. And just sensing that time, which you only get with experience, but when you can start passing it on to younger players, it's invaluable.
Yeah, first Sudirman Cup experience for P.Gadre. Third one for A.Ponnappa. Didn't actually play in 2009, but very much did in 2011. And of course has already played earlier in the mixed doubles.
Service
Well,
over.
they're not going to find it easy to get points, the Indian pair, but they got one there pretty easily.
Service over. 6-2.
Well, Wang Xiaoli, in my opinion, has got probably the hardest smash of any woman in world badminton.
Do you think in some respect, Jill,
7-2.
that what happened at the Olympics is going to make this pair, this Chinese pair, even more determined to wipe the floor with everyone? I mean, they've won all 5 events now that they played in 2013.
Well, they were fairly dominant before the Olympics.
They were, but I mean, if they needed any extra incentive, they've got it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that they've come back and they've given what you've already said, you know, the fact that Yu Yang considered retirement. She tweeted the equivalent of a tweet, I think, in China, you know, farewell badminton, you know, my beloved badminton. It was very much a sign to all of us that that was retirement, but later claimed that it had been misinterpreted, that she always had an intention of coming back. I think after the Olympics they needed a break. They needed to be away from badminton to reflect on what happened, what they did, the significance of what happened, and they have come back, as you say, looking at an even more determined pair.
234 kilometers per hour, as you were saying. She is one of the, if not the hardest hitters.
That's 145 miles per hour.
It's whatever speed you measure it at, pretty quick. For the Indian pair here, it's a question of just concentrating on what they can do best. Try and make as few unforced errors as they can. Stay in the rallies as long as they can. Yeah, there's an unforced error, unfortunately.
Service over.
P.Gadre.
10-5.
That's nicely done.
Service over. 6-10. Service over. 11-7 interval.
Well, 4 points the lead for Yu Yang and Wang Xiaoli at the first interval. Pretty quick, wasn't it? Just 4 minutes for those 18 points. Very long rallies.
Court 1, 20 seconds. Court 1, 20 seconds. Yu Yang. 11-7. Play.
Yeah, we looked at that record and we saw 6 of those defeats they've had. 2 of them were retirements. I haven't got it at hand. I would have thought most of those defeats have been to compatriots, haven't they?
All but one. Only once have they lost to a non-Chinese pair.
13-7.
At the Korean Open last year, semi-final stage.
A.Ponnappa's got a bit of power in as well. She doesn't look it.
Service over. 8-13.
She looks little and she looks almost frail, but she's got some power. Well, they're sticking to their task here. P.Gadre and A.Ponnappa trying to work this Chinese pair as much as they can.
Oh, that's lovely.
10-13. Service over. 14-10.
How good was that return of serve? Looked as if she was going to play the flat, hard push.
Service over. 11-14. Service over. 15-11.
Well, in sport, you just never know, but it's hard to see this Indian pair doing more than just pushing Wang Xiaoli and Yu Yang, despite some unforced errors
15.
from the Chinese pair.
Service over. 16-12.
Just long.
Service over. 13-16. Service over. 17-13.
There's always such continual pressure from Wang, Xiaoli and Young as a pair.
Terrific serve as well there.
19-13.
It's a good rally.
Service over. 14-19.
Well set up and well taken.
15-19.
Ashwini A.Ponnappa has also very much improved as far as her front court play is concerned, since she's been playing mixed doubles regularly. Within her partnership, women's doubles partnership with Juala Gutta, she was very much the rear court player. Since playing mixed doubles, she's become a more complete player.
Well, I think they'll be pretty pleased with
19.
the way they've held things together in this opening set, P.Gadre and P.Gadre. You don't really feel like the result of this opening set is in question, but well, closing the gap a little. 2 points now.
17-19.
And all these matches, you know, when you think, you know, Indonesia to come, confidence builders, I think the men's doubles pair will certainly take something out of what they did in their match.
20, game point, 17.
Game points have arrived here for Yu Young and Wang Xiaoli. Certainly Sindhu performed well in the women's singles, and again here the women's doubles pair showing some good standards.
Service over. 18-20. Game.
Well, 21 points to
First game
18.
won by China. 20-18.
Yu Young and Wang Xiaoli
21-18.
seeing the job done there. Always in control, but some good badminton from the Indian pair nonetheless. Well, no need for too much talking really on the Chinese side. Plenty to get across to the Indian pair.
Court 1, 20 seconds. Court 1, 20 seconds. Second game. Level, play.
Well, is this to be the final act in this opening clash for China in the defence of their Sudirman Cup title?
1 love. Service fault goal. Service over. 1-0.
Marks by it of Germany, just indicating that shuttle was struck above the waist.
Service over. 2-1.
Well, Joe, obviously you had enormous success as a doubles player, and I've got kind of an untrained eye.
3-1.
Try and see what I can if it's possible. But what's the best way to play these two then? This Chinese pair of Yu Yang and Wang Xiaoli. Do you attack them? Try and get them on the back foot? Is that the only way you really got a chance of getting any joy?
Richard, if I had the answer to this question, I'd be a very wealthy woman, because then I'd be telling all the other countries how to play against them. Quite simply, they're so good in all departments of their game that it's very, very difficult to see any weaknesses. The one thing I would say, though, is that they very much have a preferred formation, which is Yu Yang going forward to the net, with Wang Xiaoli using her enormous power from the back of the court. So if you can get them in their unfavoured formation for a start, but look at them defensively. There isn't a weakness there. So they can defend and just keep it going for a while. Then they can suddenly turn defence into attack. And when they are attacking, and there is not one single pair in women's doubles in world badminton that is as good at the attacking play as they are. They are a phenomenal pair. So, how do you beat them? I don't know.
Pray and good luck. And hope for a little bit of luck as well on your side, yeah.
I mean, the thing is that very occasionally in sport we get outstanding athletes. Ed Moses, 400-metre hurdler. What was it? Something like 9 years without being defeated. Jahangir Khan in squash. You know, you had outstanding players in Susan Devoy in squash. She was undefeated for a long, long time, wasn't she? So, you know, it does occasionally happen. But to be honest, you know, I watched this women's doubles pair.
2-7.
I've been talking earlier today about women's doubles. There is so much dominance by China in the women's doubles that there's almost, and this is not the case, I'm exaggerating, but there's almost a case of other countries sort of don't believe they can beat them.
But you can kind of understand why. Look at that win-loss ratio they've got. And
yeah.
As you say, only one non-Chinese pair have actually
ever beaten them.
Yeah.
In a match that's been finished. Yeah, I know that they were officially beaten in the first round of the China Open. I think it was 2 years ago against a Malaysian pair. But Wang Xiaoli got carried off court. I mean, it was obvious she was injured. It's, you know, I think what we've got to do is start getting other players to look at this Chinese combination, not just the Chinese combination. I am a huge fan of Wang Xiaoli. Of course, her partner is more celebrated in world terms
because she's won more titles.
She's been Olympic champion in Beijing with Du Jing. She was Olympic bronze medalist in Beijing in mixed doubles as well. She's been world champion with Beijing as well in Paris in 2010.
3.
She's a phenomenal athlete, but to me, looking at the skill level between the two players, I actually rate Wang Xiaoli higher. So what we need to do as coaches throughout the world, we need to start looking at the skills of Wang Xiaoli and looking at, it's not just her power with her overhead, her creativity is phenomenal. And I don't see enough other badminton players in the women's doubles trying to emulate that. Why? I don't know.
Well, you have to be a special type, though, don't you, to be able to produce that kind of badminton?
Yeah, but you know, coaches, the whole of sport develops, doesn't it? I mean, you look at, you know, tennis when the two-handed backhand came in and all that sort of thing. Now it's very rare to see a single-handed backhand. Sure. The game develops. And why haven't we got more and more coaches, more and more players saying, look at this, let's start working on the sort of skills that these top Chinese players have got in women's doubles.
Well, they're marching on here, Wang Xiaoli and Yu Yang, 11-5, their advantage set up already here in the second game.
Court 1, 20 seconds. Court 1, 20 seconds.
Centre of picture there, margin. Former world mixed doubles champion and Olympic silver medalist.
11-5, play.
Well, it seems an unstoppable march right now.
Service over. 6-11.
Nicely played.
7-11. Eight, 11.
Just an error at the end there at the net from
Service
Gadre,
over.
but they are
12,
trying
8.
to mix it, aren't they? Had an earlier smash from A.Ponnappa at 219 kilometres per hour. Not quite up there, well, what we've seen from Wang Xiaoli, but pretty firm enough, and that was all
Service
about
over. 9, 12.
not power, but precision from Ashwini this time.
Yeah, lovely disguise on the return of serve.
Service over. 13-9. Fourteen, 9.
way out.
Service over. 10, 14.
Yeah, it does make me chuckle. She's the one that made the error and then immediately turns and talks to her partner as if her partner has done the wrong thing. Oh, that's well taken.
Service over. 15, 10.
Lovely, lovely skills from Wang Xiaoli. Like a walk.
With those bandages, yeah.
Yeah. Arm, wrist, both knees.
6, 10.
She's only 23 years.
Well left, good judgment from
17,
Young.
10.
4 more points required to end this opening match. Well, the question that was on, I think, most
18,
coaches,
10.
most people's lips was this week, how do you stop China? India, I'm not sure whether the team expected to come up with the answers. They tried to pose a few questions along the way.
Service over. 11,
Yeah,
18.
well, I think they have posed a few questions, certainly in PV Sindhu, and then I think in this women's doubles as well. I know they're not close to beating the reigning world champions, but I'm seeing real potential in this women's doubles pair.
Service over. 19, 11.
Mentioning done.
20, match point,
And it's
11.
9 match points here for the world #1 pair. Pretty emphatic performance. It only took them 27 minutes to see the job done. Yu Yang and Wang Xiaoli in straight games, seeing off Ashwini A.Ponnappa and compatriot P.Gadre Pradnya.
Match won by China. 21, 18, 21, 11.
Well, it was a pretty emphatic display from China, all round ready. 5-0. They win this opening matchup against India.
Stop.
Always on top here. A.Ponnappa and P.Gadre giving their best. But like so many before them, this of course their first meeting against this Chinese pair. They succumbed in the end to the skills and the powers. So 5-0 the scoreline. Of course the women's single was going to 3 games, all the rest in straight games. Close affair in the men's doubles. Liu and Chu stretched by Ashke Darawaka and Pranav Chopra. So that ends the afternoon's proceedings. Of course, we'll be back later on for the matchup between Thailand and Hong Kong, China. But in this game between China and India, well, pretty much what we expected. Zhang Nan and Zhao Yunlei seeing off Bung Karno and Ashwini A.Ponnappa in the mixed doubles, 21-10, 21-13. The Olympic champions showing their worth, as did Chen Long. No Lin Dan, of course, for China at the Sudirman Cup. But Chen Long's been in fine form in the last 6 months or so. And Kashyap Parapalli was very easily dismissed. Not so easy, though, was it for Liu Xiaolong and Chu Han? Very tight, particularly in that first game, 25-23 going to extra points. And you can see it really meant something to the Chinese pair when they got it done. And some troubles for Wang Yihan up against this talented teenager, PV Sindhu, who took the opening game. But it was a great fight back, great mental strength from Wang Yihan, who picked herself up off the floor to see the job done in the end. The only match in this opening game to go to 3 sets. And then we saw the class of the world #1 women's doubles pair, Yu Yang and Wang Xiaoli, doing more than enough to see A.Ponnappa and P.Gadre in under half an hour. So that's all from Jed and I for now. Of course, plenty more to come this week from the Putra Arena here in Kuala Lumpur. China off the mark and in style. Next up, of course, for you for the evening session is the game between Thailand and Hong Kong. That to look forward to. We'll be back with you shortly.